Hello and welcome to the Trip-Cap Call of Duty League podcast. We talk about literally everything in and outside of the Call of Duty League. On this episode, we will be previewing this weekend's Chicago Home Series. We're joined by Chicago's very own Arcitys. We'll be getting a little weird looking at some headlines in the news. All this and much, much more on the Trip-Cap.
No, we won't back down, gonna fight till the end. Our honor comes first every time. Gonna stand up straight with our hand on our heart. Gonna right every wrong that we find.
Well, my name is Miles and as always joined by Ben and Phil. Gentlemen, it's going to be a very, very cool weekend ahead of us. I think probably the most anticipated home series we've had so far. Obviously, we're moving everything online. It is what it is, let's be honest. Ben, what's the number one thing you're looking forward to coming into the Chicago Home Series?
Good question. To be honest, I would probably say watching Chicago try and defend their city, right? It's been a common theme. We've kind of grown as the league has started to develop. The team that's obviously hosting the weekend, trying to win. Atlanta, of course, have already done that. But I think I'm more so going to really be looking at the Chicago Huntsmen and just where are they actually at, right? Because no disrespect to the players or the team, for a while, I think they've been everyone's kind of top 3 power rankings just because. Right? Just because they win an event. And then since then, you look at the players, you look at the roster, and you're like, wow, talent. Like, serious amounts of talent. But recently, the results just not going their way. Yes, they've only lost to the Florida Mutineers. They just happened to have lost to them twice. But I'm looking for them to kind of bounce back. I really am. I'm looking for them to really solidify themselves as either the number 1 or number 2 team in our league.
Phil, what about you, mate?
For me, it's seeing the teams we've not seen in what seems like forever. You know, going back to LA and thinking about the Ravens, thinking about FaZe. It's been so long since we've seen these teams actually play, and I believe they are the first matchup head-to-head. So I'm interested to see the teams we haven't seen, the players we haven't seen. But much like Ben said, I think Huntsmen, everyone's going to be watching them a little bit more under that magnifying glass because it is the Chicago Home Series. So a lot to look out for in this upcoming weekend.
Yeah, it's going to be a good weekend indeed. I'm very interested to see how the new London roster looks. For me, the biggest interesting for me is FaZe, man. Last time we saw FaZe, it was semi-finals in LA where they lost to Minnesota. That was an absolute smacking right there for them. They did not expect that. I didn't expect that. I'm looking to see what a wounded FaZe does. Now they've got something to prove to themselves. Are they going to be bigger and more dangerous than ever? Only time will tell. Well, boys, we're obviously really looking forward to the Chicago Home Series this weekend. What are your predictions? Thinking going forward, who's going to be in those finals? Who's going to be upset? What are you guys thinking?
I'm going Chicago. I think they defend. That's what I'm going, Miles. I think they're going to come out and have a good showing. Obviously, we were talking before about where they are in the power rankings. I think this is their time to maybe get things together a little bit. Not saying they've underperformed massively in the past. But 2 losses against Florida, who I personally think that Huntsman team should be beating. I think they come out and they defend their city.
Only team to defend their city so far has been Atlanta. Phil, what do you think, mate? Who's coming out hot?
I mean, a good way to link it. I think Atlanta is the team that I've got my eyes on. I think they are going to be back in the grand final. I'd like to think that it would be against Chicago, but for me, I still have FaZe coming out on top of this weekend. I think when we talk power rankings, I still have them as number 1. But I think Chicago, I think we will see, as a bit of a prediction out there, we're going to see a different Chicago. And I think that's easy to say because they've not been winning, lost to Florida. I think we see a hungry Chicago, one which is showing a little bit more tenacity kind of thing. So 2 back-to-back events that they haven't won or haven't done well in, I think they would say themselves it's been a bit disappointing. But I'm going to go with a FaZe Chicago final, an Atlanta versus Chicago final. It'll be a good one.
Spicy. That will be a good one. The matchup we've been waiting to see for so long now. I'm actually excited to see how FaZe perform as well. Last time we saw them was in LA. Semi-final loss to the Minnesota Rocket 3-2. A massive upset as far as I'm concerned. I did not expect that whatsoever. I'm looking forward to seeing what a hungry, wounded FaZe do. Are they going to come back more ferocious than ever? What are they going to do to change things up? I mean, what do you think they would have done in the interim period? Obviously, we don't even want to talk to about that, but I don't think they're one of the few teams that haven't made any changes as far as we're aware, where everyone else seems to be swapping rosters around, making role changes within teams. Ben, I don't know what FaZe has done since losing in LA.
I don't think they had to really do much, right? I mean, you look at the team they lost to, the Minnesota Rocker, a great team. They'd taken the distance in an incredible series. I mean, let's not forget how close some of those maps were. I think that's one of those that the players will look at and say, we just got beat. That's as simple as that. I don't think there's anything they need to kind of digest or try and break down. It's just on the day, Minnesota Rocker were the better team, and that's going to happen. It's incredibly difficult to stay consistent across, months and months and months, years and years and years. That's why there's so few dynasty teams. I know a lot of people looked at Atlanta FaZe, myself included, and said, this could be a dynasty, man. Like, maybe they go on and they win every week. Not the case. For me, though, it's just not seeing them in so long, not kind of hearing from any of the players, speaking to them directly. I don't know what to expect. I think they're still a fantastic team, of course, still top 2 without question. I kind of like Phil's point. I think you probably expect the final to be kind of Huntsman FaZe. I think that makes the most amount of sense for me. But will they win? I personally think Huntsman, I think they need to show us. Once again, they need to validate themselves. So I look at them as potentially coming out on top over FaZe.
Phil, do you think, along those lines, Ben's right, it takes a lot longer to build a dynasty. Do you feel like this is more, the loss in LA was more FaZe being lackluster than Minnesota being the better team or the stronger team overall?
I always like to give it to the positive side. I like to think of Minnesota in that. I don't want to just kind of put it down to Minnesota only winning because FaZe were maybe a little off. But I think probably a mixture of both, if I'm being completely honest. I think it might have been the kick up the butt that FaZe might have needed, a loss, to show them that they're not indestructible, that they still need to work hard, grind hard. And they are doing that day in, day out. But I think kind of predictions going for Huntsman, I think we touched on it before, for myself, I think we see FaZe and Huntsman in that final. Well, I don't know. I think with obviously the online format now, we can see weird and wonderful things. We've seen the Mutineers already do something pretty special. And I know Rocker, they are just waiting for a victory. They've done so well. I think they're only team in back-to-back finals. I think they'll be looking to do that once more again. I kind of lose myself in even who's at Chicago at some points, but FaZe versus Huntsman in the final, I think, is a good one to look forward to. I hope it is that, but I actually think FaZe come out on top. This is where me and Ben kind of go our separate ways. I think FaZe take that title back.
I get where you're coming from there, dude. I think the biggest obstacle right now for FaZe is like, if they don't have a great series against London, their first group match, I think that might stunt them a little bit. I feel like a loss to London would be devastating for FaZe. They come out of you're coming out of a loss against Minnesota. You've got a couple of questions around like, are we still a great team? Yeah, we're definitely still a great team, right? If you go up against London, and if London come out swinging and take you down, you're like, okay, our question now around are we a great team is way more at the forefront of our minds as a squad. That is a tall ask. No short order for the boys of London to actually pick up a win there. But like, I genuinely believe, though, for FaZe, the greatest test they're going to have now is like the resolve going from we've lost to a team we probably feel like we should have beaten, didn't make it to a grand final. Then we have another challenge. If we don't beat these guys, at what point do they fall over mentally as a squad? Because again, that's always been the weakness for me in that FaZe team is they're quite young. They don't really have much adversity. They haven't really dealt with a lot of strife as far as the teams and the players go. Do they have the fortitude to take a couple of losses and then still bounce back in that tournament and go for the full run and make the finals? That's the biggest question for me. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, we are now joined by third-round draft pick Arcitys of the Chicago Huntsmen. Alec, welcome to the show, brother. Thanks for coming on.
Thanks, man. I'm not happy with any of you guys, but it's all good.
Wait, you can't be too upset.
I'm not upset. We got smoked, yeah.
Yeah.
No.
So technically, our draft was pretty good.
No, because I still fried.
You did still fry.
Our team didn't fry.
You did still fry. What happened with the team then? What's it like in comms? I know it's online. We know it's a different format. We know things have changed a little bit. But what are the comms like for the team right now when it's not going well?
To be honest, I tell them this every day. Us five shouldn't be losing no matter what. So we must suck. That's all I keep telling them. We got to work on something, and we all think it's like it's not as bad as I'm about to say. We all think it's like an outside game situation. Like we need to work on stuff like to be better friends, not in game. So I think we've been working on that since we got home, and it's been going well.
That's really interesting. Yeah, that's really interesting because you are five of the most disgusting players in the league.
Oh yeah,
individually.
We shoot our guns straight, and we just don't know how to play the game.
I mean, I was gonna say, to be fair, it's not like you guys are underperforming. You've been beat by Florida. You've been beat by Florida twice, right? I mean, That's the weird thing for me is we obviously had Ogre 2 come on the show last week, and it was very interesting to get his insight as to, building that team. And even he was like, yeah, dude, apparently we're the Huntsman Boogeyman. That's how they feel. It's just very strange to me that team of all teams seem to be your kryptonite. Did you guys have any idea why that is, I guess?
I mean, I'm not saying it was a problem with me, but on the United team in World War II, I don't know if you remember this, but we would get smoked by the teams that we thought we were better than and beat the teams that we were worse than. But I just think it's a mentality thing. I think, I don't know. I just think this is how I think of it. Like teams that like think they're better than us, like gun wise, they'll just challenge us straight up. But like Florida obviously knows like they're not like the best team, or they shouldn't be the best team, but they are. So they're playing the game right. They're trying to learn how to play a hard counter us, and they did it obviously very well. So props to them. So I just think they're going in there with a better mindset than us, just trying to straight up gun people. And
so does that mean your fundamentals are maybe not as good?
Oh, yeah, 100%. We don't know how to play the game.
Oh, wow.
I mean, it seems like it does sound like
that too.
Yeah, it does sound like a bold statement, man, that you don't know how to play the game.
There's no way.
I'm just saying, us five shouldn't be losing, no matter what game it is, no matter what COD it is. I told him we could probably hop on Gears of War and probably win a couple games there. But I mean,
I don't doubt that, man.
I was going to say, I mean, the talent is certainly there. I think when this roster was formed, we all kind of knew it was a scary one. You mentioned like working on things outside of game. Obviously, I'm sure that'd probably be better outside of quarantine. But what type of things are you doing outside of game? Is that just kind of like hanging out or chilling in calls?
I mean, if people watch the streams, they know what we needed to work on. There's a lot of bickering, there's a lot of arguing, there's a lot of not listening to each other. I think that's the number one thing. With my old squad that won 2 events in a row, we always listen to each other, no matter like how stupid you sound. We always like, okay, we still got like, just to make sure like he doesn't feel like he's just not there on the team. Like just like, because if you're not gonna listen to a teammate, he's gonna obviously start losing his shit.
Yeah,
and he's like, if they don't even want me on the team, why am I here? Like, I think that's how we all feel right now, and it's something we are working on. Because we had like a 30 minute to an hour conversation about, you're not waking up on time. You're waking up 5 minutes before scrims, which I agree, it's annoying. And there's like, you're not listening to each other in game. And it's like, it just kept going on. I was like, dude, this is annoying, but it's something we got to work on. So I just kept letting him go at it.
And you've never had that so far in your playing career?
Ooh, like people waking up late?
I mean, not necessarily that, but obviously you mentioned, your old squad when you're winning back-to-back events, you guys all listening to each other, and
World War II, Preston and Clay got into it a lot.
Okay,
but it's like that's obviously we weren't good at all, and we're just all on excuse me, sorry. We're all just on edge, and like I mean, I've said it in the past. I tried leaving the team, Clay tried leaving the team, Preston tried leaving the team, so it's like. That team obviously wasn't working, but we stuck there and it worked out perfectly.
Interesting.
But,
that's a fascinating insight. I like that a lot.
Other than I have not had teammates that didn't wake up on time.
Can you say who said teammate or
time.
teammates
I
are?
can say the people know it's formal and gunless. It's
Come on.
I mean, I understand formal situation. I like gunless. He like there's a week where he streamed like 18 hours a day, and I was like, dude, you're crazy. But there's no excuse. This is a job. This is if obviously people had real jobs before. I have. If I ever showed up late, I'm fired instantly.
You're fired. You're gone.
Yeah. So I don't know. I think we all need to take it more serious. In game too, like me and Seth like to troll. Seth is the biggest troll I ever played with too, which isn't wrong. It's not a bad thing because like it's just to make sure like some of us are trying to get our shit together. And some of us are like trying to have fun at the same time, which I like. I like a lot because if I'm not having fun, I'm getting smoked. It's just weird.
It's a game at the end of the day, man.
Yeah,
that kind of, I know what you mean. That kind of like fun working environment. It brings out the best in a lot of people. Like I'm exactly the same. If everyone on the team's having a good time, and a lot of the time I'm trying to be that guy who's making everyone have a good time, everyone seems to work better, including myself.
Yeah.
So, with all that in mind, what are you doing now to try to fix these problems? Going into the home series because the home series is real close.
So I mean, we're gonna get a lot of flack for this, but Monday or Tuesday was the first day we actually went into a lobby 6, 7, or 8 of us, even Tupac and General are in there, and we actually went over S&D stuff. That was the first time this year.
This late into the season?
Yes. Instead of scrimming, we just went in there as us 8 and went over stuff like what we want to do on the map and where we want to go and how do we feel on the map. Because after we lost at Piccadilly to Florida, we were like, dude, they just felt uncomfortable because we had like one strat. And Seth just was like, dude, I don't know what I'm doing right now. I don't know what I'm doing. And other people were like, dude, this just feels weird. So we're like, dude, we all have to go over this, go home and go over this because everything just felt off, even though we somehow beat 2 other teams.
I was going to say, is that map specific feeling uncomfortable, or is that just your entire search?
I think entire search. I just think
that's so interesting.
St. Petra, we got bailed out by Dylan both times.
I was going to say,
Piccadilly. If we won Piccadilly, we got bailed out by me and Seth winning those 2v4s in a row. So we're just winning by getting bailed out.
Yeah. And that's the coolest thing. That's the coolest thing about the squad, man. As you said, like, you know the gun skills there. You know that you're brilliant players. Like, once you start to find how you guys want to play the game, how to play the game correctly, you're going to be
smart. We're all smart players too. That's the like I heard Seth like talk his mind, which other people said he doesn't, but he does a lot. He just like when it comes to it, like when it comes to like, oh, we lost 2 events in a row, he's like, all right, we're getting our shit together. Seth was like, the first day back, Seth was the first one on, so like I give him props. He's like, I'm coming in here, we're getting better, and like I'm taking the shit serious. And I mean, props to him, but like again, it's just it's 5-man effort. We all have to show up on time and not show up.
So like, how much of that do you say is player specific or coach specific? Because I've seen a big debate go on for quite some time. People saying, the coaches need to be more active here. They have to, be more proactive with their team. And then the counter argument is, of course, well, especially now, right, where we're in like quarantine and just the way the world is right now is crazy. The players just have to, be responsible. Like, kind of, how do you take that stance?
I think that's the dumbest argument I ever heard in my life.
Yeah, you do?
I think coaches could do about 25% while the players
Everything
have to put in.
Player.
Yes.
Yeah.
You're not going to get a player. You could tell a player everything like he needs to do, and some players just won't do it. Most players won't do it. I'll be the one to say it. Most players won't do it. You're gonna like all the coaches could do is just tell you what to do. They can't hold your controller or anything. So at the end of the day, the coach is just sitting there watching the players screw up over and over, and it's like it's not their fault. They're trying their hardest to tell you what the other team does, tell you like how you're gonna win this break. And I give props to Troy because we are annoying 5 players. Our egos are insane, and he knows that, and he's trying. But sometimes like I could tell he gets annoyed with us. But I mean
how active is Tupac in that kind of like coaching role? I know specifically he's S&D, right? Like that's what you associate when you say the word Tupac. You think search.
Yeah,
but I mean, is he active at all, or are you guys now letting him be more active?
I mean, and every time we scrim S&D, he's been there. So
okay,
props to him. He makes time for us, and obviously he has to. But yeah, he tries his best. He's been helping us since we got back, and I think we've scrimmed S&D once, and we went over it. So I mean, he's doing his job. It's just it comes down to us. I mean, at London, I'm pretty sure we're a really really good S&D team. I can't remember, but I know it fell off after Atlanta because we got lazy.
Mm-hmm. I've got a question then, dude. So speaking about, obviously, Troy, Sender, your coach, I mean, I've heard the comms in streams, and again, it does sound like there's a lot of, he does a really good job, he's giving very, very good points, but I totally understand the idea that no one's listening. At any point throughout the squad, has anyone thought a team, like bringing General off the bench and putting him in the main roster, has that ever been in discussion? Because he's a very good player.
Again, I'm being straight up with you guys. I did. There was a week right before Dallas was the last event.
Yep.
Yeah, a week before that, we didn't win a map for like 3 days, 4 days.
You getting tucked,
Yeah, it was when I was running a flex, and right after that, I was like, yo, let me run the AR, because Matt was just sitting there complaining about the MP5, which every AR does. But I was like, I told Troy on the side, I was like, Troy, if we don't win a map today, I'm gonna spectate. I want to see what these guys are doing on the map to make us lose, because I know it's me, it's all of us. I'm like, dude, what's going on? Like, people are giving half call. It's like the non-energy ones are like he's weak, and I hate that. I hate that so much as a player. Like it's just something like it just shows me like you're putting zero effort and like you just woke up or something. I was like, dude, you guys gotta like get a grip. Like we're trying to win. We're trying to win chips here. It's just more embarrassing for us to lose just because our squad right now.
Right.
So I kept telling him, I was like, Troy, if we don't win a map right now, I'm gonna spectate the next series. Luckily, like the main AR switch worked for a little bit, but we switched back, so we'll see how it goes.
Yeah, I wanted to ask about the switch as well, because when we saw Formal running an MP5, we were like, "Oh, he's great, man! He can do it all." But when we saw some of the numbers coming out of that, we were like, "Oh, something feels a little off here. This isn't right."
It was like the first series. The first series you guys had was insane.
Oh yeah, me and Matt.
Like you had like a 1.6. I think Matt had like a 1.4, and it was like, okay, like this is what we're talking about. Like finally they found a groove. But then to Miles' point, like all of a sudden it was like, oh, what happened?
That was the most
from day
comfortable
one?
series I've played in my career on with this team. It just everything was so smooth. Besides the S&D, obviously, and I don't know, like running AR and running a sub. I realized like what I did for the team running a sub, and it was like I was being that annoying player. Like I was doing that long route set. That Matt's new to the sub, so I didn't expect him to do it, but I thought someone else would start picking it up, and no one did, obviously, because Colt Havoc literally won his team a tournament for that.
Route man
gets paid, but
true.
it's just I just realized like I watched it back. I was like, dude, someone has to be making these annoying ass plays, which Matt just he's a slayer. Like we gotta keep him in that slayer role, which obviously he couldn't be in because he's he's the fourth sub on the team, so he's got to be that one to sit in a corner, rotate, and do all the dirty work, which I don't want him to do. I want me to do. I feel more comfortable doing it for the team, and I was like after the event, I was like I got to go back to like because I think Dylan said something about like he felt more comfortable with me being a sub too.
Such an underrated role because it's so important. Like it really is. People, I don't think they realize just how like important having someone do that quote dirty work is. Like in the past, historically, it's always been like the objective guy. Right? It's like, oh, who's your OBJ guy? That sort of went out the window, and then it became all right, who is doing the dirty work? Like who's going to be the guy that goes first? Who's going to be the guy that gets your baits, your trades? Like all of that stuff. The long routes like you talk about is very important, and obviously you have a ton of experience doing that and doing it very, very well. But there is one thing that I have to ask you. I asked over to this last week, and I feel obviously there's no one closer to Prestinni than you. First of all, how is Preston doing? Is he okay? Like, where is he at as a person now, I guess?
I mean, he's ready.
He's ready?
Yeah, he keeps saying he wants to play, and I think it shows. I think he's sleeping right now. Actually, his set is behind me. So
he's asleep right now.
Yeah,
nice,
I don't think he is ready.
I think you can kind of tell he's hungry as well. Like especially after the Florida win, but also like the clips that he's been putting on social media. Like you can tell like he's almost itching to get back into it. Seems, and I think that was always going to be the case when you step away from something or bench yourself. Like you are going to miss it. We just kind of didn't know like how long it would be. So it'd be interesting to see what happens. And obviously we wish him the best for sure.
What is it like not playing with him though?
It's weird.
Or playing against him.
Yeah, I mean, playing against him. That's obviously the other thing.
I mean, I'll tell you next time I play him because I'll try to beat him. But not playing it, it's so weird because like now, I mean, he's right behind me. I'm like, okay, but like I'm just saying because he sits here and watches my team play. So obviously, because we're the only team that streams. So he just sits. I'm like, Preston, you see this? Like, do you see what's going on right now? Like, I'm losing full. But it's usually it's like, Preston, you need to work on this. Like, you're getting porked on right now. Like, I don't know what to tell you. Now he's like, damn. Like, what's going on, Alec? I'm like, dude, screw you, dude.
Do you miss?
He starts trolling, dude. Just starts like jabbing at you.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Do you miss having your brother on the roster?
Oh yeah. I mean, obviously he's my brother and. He's a very good player too. Like, even if he doesn't put up the best stats, I think what he does on the map is very great, and it relieves a lot of pressure for like the slower players, like mid AR and stuff. And I think he just doesn't get enough credit for how he plays.
I mean, one of the most iconic kind of images from the CDL so far, in my opinion, is the post-game interview that you and your brother had, obviously, after you lost to Florida. You saw how much it meant, I guess, to both of you and how much it took out of you emotionally, energy-wise. I mean, what was the feelings going through your head in that moment? Like, what was that like? Obviously, losing is never fun, right? Doing an interview after you lose, it just sucks. Flat out, it's awful.
Yeah, it's terrible.
But what was going through your mind knowing that it was your brother that beat you? Did that maybe make it a little bit better? I know Scraps and Wiskins have said in the past, like, you know, if I was going to lose to anyone, I'd want to lose to my brother.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, but it's unfortunate I had to watch a 20-minute series next series, but it would have been a lot better if he won. But now that he beat me and lost, it didn't make it better.
Didn't make it better?
Yeah.
No, I did not make it better. I respect him and his team for beating me, but the next series was bad. I'm just kidding. Florida, don't roast me. You beat me twice already. Stop. Just stop. I'm kidding.
They're getting the tweets ready right now,
Yeah,
dude. They're ready to go.
It was a crazy feeling. Like, it's something that I never thought it was going to happen because I never thought we were going to leave. But I mean, obviously, he keeps saying it was my option, which it was. Not going to throw him under the bus for that.
It's crazy, right? You go from winning playoffs, champs, where, I mean, let's be honest, as a player, you're on top of the world, right? You've just won the two biggest events of a year, to the biggest roster mania Todd is probably ever gonna see, to no longer playing with your brother, then playing against your brother and him beating you for a spot in a final. I mean,
and him benching himself next to it, yes.
Yeah.
It's very demoralizing.
And then his team actually winning as well without him.
Yeah.
Like, I can't imagine just all of those emotions from just a sibling point of view, right? Just having a brother who you love so much. You know, you've grown up together, you've played COD together, and now like all of these emotions flying around. Dude, that has to be crazy. I mean, I guess props to both of you for handling it as well as you did. I know if I was one of you in that interview after that game, I would have even been able to speak. I'm gonna be honest with you. I would have.
We need the Formula One Drive to Survive Netflix show now for COD. We need it because think of how lit this season would have been already.
Honestly, yeah, you're not wrong. There's been some crazy moments.
Every time I'm gonna play him now, I'm just gonna remember what he said to me across the stage. So it's his fault.
Dude, what went through your mind? What went through your mind when you saw him standing up, screaming at you? Were you just enraged?
I wasn't enraged at what he was saying. I was more enraged of what our team did and how we did.
Easily.
We won the first two maps, and just after that, we just hit the snooze button, and it's just like. You could ask any of my teammates; they all say like, "Yeah, I just felt like we weren't trying." It's literally how it felt. Like it's the weirdest and the worst feeling ever. Because I'm just like, it's my brother. It's who I want to beat the most.
Yeah.
If I had to pick anyone to beat that I wanted to beat really really bad, it would be Preston. Just because I don't want to lose to him. Like he literally sits behind me all day just saying, I beat you. I'm and I'm like, I have more chips than you. Like, I have more chips than you. I have 4. Like, you have 3. But he's like, nah, I've only gone to one event and I beat you at it. And I'm like, dude, come on, man.
No.
I'm like, come on, dude.
No,
and so it's
dude.
like, I mean, I'm not going to be able to get my hands on him until he gets on another starting roster. So
That's true.
So you
hopefully
did,
he
mate.
gets one
Good
on
luck.
soon.
Yeah, good luck. Speaking about the next time you get your hands on him, obviously it's not going to be happening in the next event, the Chicago Home Series. Are there any teams or anyone you're looking forward to? You know, given everything you've spoken about here, what are your expectations for the Home Series aside from a win?
Besides from a win, I don't care who we play. I mean, you said besides a win, but that's all I want. I mean, us 5 again. We have to win. What I want to work on the most as a team is hardpoint, because I mean,
Interesting.
again, I keep saying us 5. We should be losing game modes like Dom and S&D, but it is unacceptable for us to lose hardpoints. I think for how much time we put into hardpoints and how much time us 5 play together outside of COD, and which is rare, besides Warzone, late at night.
Yeah.
I just don't think it's acceptable for us to lose hard points.
Why do you not have domination in there as well? Because like you look at your team, right, and you think, just slay him off the map. Just kill everything in front of you, and you're going to win Dom relatively easy. Why is that not in that category as well?
I don't think Dom's like that. I think Dom is more of a strategy game, and it became that more of that when when everyone started learning about Dom instead of complaining about it.
Imagine that.
I mean, yeah, obviously Doms too, but I think it's one game at a time. I don't think our Doms have been that bad this year. I think our hard points have been our worst somehow, some way. I think our S&D would have been worse as soon as I got. No, actually, that's not true. I thought our S&Ds was going to be really good. I know Seth was really good at S&D towards the end of BO4, I believe, and I know Dylan, Pierce, and Matt have always been good at S&D. Matt's a crazy sniper. Pierce
not always. Not always. It took Matt. At the start of Ghost, it took him a little bit. I remember.
I didn't watch Ghost at
I remember watching Matt grind. So he religiously played Search and Destroy for what felt like 6 months, and he became so good. He became so good at Search. Like now, I look at him and I'm like, that's a good Search and Destroy player.
We're getting deep into COD history now. We got to wrap this one up. Right. Arcitys, it's been so good to talk to you, man. We're getting so carried away, dude. It's been really good having you on the show. You've gone from a third round draft pick for me now to at least a second after that.
Dude, he's number one. Number one. I'm drafting you number one next time, Alec. I got you.
We appreciate you, man. Thank you so much for coming on the show, dude. And mate, good luck at the home series. We will be watching.
Good luck, man.
Good luck.
All right, friends, now it's time for the Week in Weird. We have scoured the internet. We've found some of the most unusual, newsworthy headlines that have certainly tickled our pickles coming into this week. Ben, what have you got, mate? What's the weirdest thing you found on the internet thus far?
All right, so I'm going to start with the kind of memory, of course, of the toilet paper crisis, right? COVID starts happening, people panic, buy toilet roll. Why? I don't really know. I'm going to be honest with you, but... It definitely doesn't. It was sold out everywhere. Every supermarket I went to couldn't find toilet paper anywhere. So I ended up ordering mine online. And it arrived and it was perfectly normal. However, I stumbled across an article in the LA Times and it was basically saying a lot of people have ordered toilet paper from Amazon and it has either not arrived or it has arrived, let's just say maybe a little different than they would have expected. People have ordered toilet roll and they have received doll-sized toilet roll. Like think about like a Barbie doll, for example. Toilet roll to that level. People are so confused. They're paying the full price. They're paying shipping. They're trying to get it expedited, and they're being sent these tiny rolls of toilet paper. But then, apparently, there's a scandal. Companies are saying, "Hey, order your toilet roll from us, and we'll ship it." But the shipping dates are like 4, 5, 6 weeks into the future. So basically what they're doing is they're not sending anything. They're just relying on you forgetting that you ordered toilet roll that's being delivered in 6 weeks. They're keeping the money and they're relying on people forgetting. There's a whole scandal now starting to develop around COVID and toilet roll. I thought it was fascinating. I thought it was super weird as well. But yeah, be careful, folks. When you're ordering your toilet roll, make sure you get it from a trusted source, I guess.
Like somebody who sells toilet roll.
A reputable toilet.
A reputable toilet roll seller.
And you like that.
If you're looking for some extra, I can put some up on Amazon for you.
That is so weird, man. What do you even do with that? You're better off with a box of tissues or kitchen roll.
Can you imagine, right? You're opening up your Amazon package. Finally, my toilet roll's been here.
Seems a little small.
4 weeks, and it's minute. I would be enraged.
Imagine if they put it in a box the size that it should be in as well, and you open it, it's just like these tiny little toilet rolls.
Tiny roll. Oh, dude, I thought it was very, very weird. I just wanted to bring that up.
That is weird and sad. What a tragedy, man. People profiting off of our desperate need to wipe ourselves. Philip.
I didn't actually know that was Ben's article or what he found weird, because mine is of the same category, let's say. Mine was actually an article which I found, which was, luckily, we can kind of laugh about it a little bit here, but a truckload stuffed with toilet paper, to the brim. Think about how much is needed. Yes, on the toilet paper scandal again, it almost seems. It's driving through Texas. And the one truck, which, any other time of day, you lose some toilet paper, you wouldn't be too kind of disheartened about. This truck catches fire on the Texas interstate. The whole thing goes up. Don't worry, the driver is okay. That's the main thing about this, I wanted to say. Everyone's okay, except the toilet paper. The hot commodity of 2020 is gone up in flames, and not only are people receiving minute toilet paper, it seems, but these guys aren't receiving any. That is burnt, singed, and destroyed.
How did it happen? Did you read that? Like, did it explain?
Yeah, so a tractor trailer hauling toilet paper crashed, caught fire near Dallas. We're talking this month, last week I think it was. Right. So, I mean, arguably, you probably could blame something, whether it was the driver or whatever it was, but everyone's okay. That's the main thing. But the toilet roll is gone. It's burned. Nobody can have anything. But I just love and wanted to point out that toilet paper is making the news, and then you bring that, Ben, to the table.
Maybe they're like connected. Maybe these two stories are somehow connected, right? Maybe this is like a big ploy from a company who's trying to scam you on Amazon, that they're just now burning all the actual toilet paper in the US. So if you need toilet paper, you have to now order from overseas, and you're going to get scammed. It's all connected, folks. Open your eyes.
It's an insurance scam. Now that everyone knows that toilet paper is teeny weeny itsy bitsy, they're like, okay, we'll burn the stock. And
plot twist. Miles
geniuses.
Miles has part 3, I'm sure, lined up for you about this toilet paper. I'm interested to hear what Miles brings.
All connected.
Dude, I actually don't. I'm not nowhere near toilet paper, nowhere near the COVID-19 thing. I mean, the only tie I've possibly got here is about the environment. And obviously, with all of us sitting indoors, no one driving around, not many flames flying around, the greenhouse gases are down and all that stuff. Like, the world is generally looking a little bit better. My story actually comes from Colombia, involving Pablo Escobar and his cocaine hippos. This is going to be a weird one. They're basically restoring Colombia's ecosystem. So everyone knows Pablo Escobar, Big Pabs. When he died in 1993, well, he had an exotic animal collection. And we're not talking like Joe Exotic, Tiger King level. Like, he really did have his own zoo going on. He had 80 hippos, right? When he died in 1993, they let them all out into the wild across Colombia because I don't know what else you're going to do with them. No one's going to pay to look after them. So the people at the time just thought, we'll get them out there. Initially, they were described as a pest. Obviously, like, a hippo eats a lot. It needs to consume a huge amount. They're super dangerous, man. They're heavy and strong. So these animals go out into the wild. They live this sort of like semi-aquatic lifestyle, and there's like videos and images of like dogs and cats chasing them out of gardens and stuff like that. Like, imagine a hippo comes into the yard. I know that some folks in the US deal with bears, and that sounds terrifying. But
alligators.
Like, the hippo's going to be able to come through the front door. Like, he's going to be able to just like, if it wants
to
come in,
knock your house down. Like, there is no door.
Terrifying animal. So anyway, these hippos, of all things, it's actually their poo that is saving the environment. It plays, and I quote, a keystone role in boosting fishery productivity. That is, it's a weird thing, right?
Wow.
So it doesn't replicate anything that exists in the current ecosystem in Colombia, but what it's doing is it's restoring important parts of the ecology across several species elsewhere. So like, something that has come from a totally different place has been implanted in their ecology, taken a lot of poos. A big old hippo dump has now reinvigorated the ecosystem in Colombia. Props to the hippo poo.
Where did the cocaine hippo come from, though? Because that was how you started.
Well, that was how they've been described in this HuffPost.
I think it's just because the hippo is whiter than normal.
No, they're just brown hippos. I think it's to say that he used his.
I thought he bred them or something.
I thought you were gonna say like there was something in their poop. It's cocaine in there somehow. Like he did some weird stuff with some hippo. That's where I thought that story was going.
No, I'm kind of glad they're dubbed. There's like a nickname for them because he used that to pay for them. Obviously, like
I see.
There's no lawyers in the color of them running around. Yeah.
Interesting.
It's like
very weird, Miles.
My accounting.
Shout out to the hippos, I guess.
No, dude, right on. Shout out to those hippos and their gigantic piles of shit. Well, from the weekend weird to something entirely all the same, strange, bizarre, and unusual, it's now time for Miles's mailbag. Right, boys. I'm going to rock this one off with the very first question we have here in the mailbag. Who could this weekend's version of the Mutineers be? An under-the-radar team that can make a run at least to the finals. Ooh, that's quite a fun question, man.
That is a good one.
Phil, it's all yours, mate.
I think for me, a lot of people are focused on, the big dogs, your Huntsmen, the face going back. I think a lot of people have forgotten about the Ravens. I think, yes, they've made some maybe potential changes. I don't really know the ins and outs of that, but I think the Ravens are a team which showed how good they can be. We've not seen them play online yet. We've seen them take a big break. I'm hoping they've sat back, watched a lot, and learnt a lot. I would have to give it to London. I think London are a team that may be able to push those finals and surprise us, be that Mutineers of the coming weekend.
That's a cool point, man. I mean, I think London, you're right. They slip under the radar a little bit. There's the potential there. Ben, what do you think about that? London?
I'm going to be the negative Nancy in the room. No, I don't think it's London. I don't know what to expect since the team change. I could argue extensively. I don't even think they needed to make a team change. For me, I don't know what to expect from them. I expected them to be fantastic. They kind of let me down at the start of the season. Not massively, but I thought they were going to be better than they were, I guess. For me, the answer to that question is no one. It's as simple as that. I think this weekend coming up is going to be more standard. I think there's a reason me and Phil earlier on kind of both agreed in terms of our final. Obviously, we have different opinions on who's going to take it, but we kind of have a similar feeling that this one should be, quote, normal. I don't think there's going to be many upsets, Miles, I'll be honest.
I like that a lot. I think you're right. This could be the most black and white event we see, or let's say green and red. Who knows?
So when
like
London
that,
win the event, do we come back to this point? And
No.
Clip it and make
No.
really
We're going to
special?
delete it off the internet completely.
Just let it roll, man. Just let
Make
it roll.
wild picks, and if it comes true, you look like a genius. I love it.
It's true. That's what I've done.
Phil's
most of my career.
timestamp this one, right? There we go, mate.
Right.
All right, next question. What do you expect the Huntsmen to do if they fall short this weekend? Roll swaps, bring in a player off the bench, or do they stay on course? That's a toughie, man. Ben, I believe that they don't do anything except for stay on course. I think the team's too stubborn.
Define fall short, right? That to me is the key, okay? Because by players falling short is not winning. Okay, they're not happy whenever they get knocked out. To them, they should be winning every single event. Now, losing in a final, finishing second, Miles, I'll agree with you. They don't do a thing. Losing in a semi-final, I think there's frustration. I think there's going to be internal arguments, but I think that team would get through it. I don't think they do anything. Not getting to Sunday, team change. I
like that, man.
I think they started off the season so hot. They've been bested by Florida twice, a team that I think they personally believe they should be beating every single time. No disrespect to Florida. Of course, they won an event. And I think the counter argument is, well, yeah, but that's the team that they've lost to, right? They seem to have a lot of success against everyone else. I don't think it matters. I think to them, not winning events is a big, big problem. Again, I want to reiterate, I believe that they will win next week or next weekend. I really, really do believe that. I think this is going to be their event they come out and they take. But if they don't even get to Sunday, Miles,
at their home series,
I think those players, to your point, are so stubborn. They're going to get so angry at each other. I think it's just going to implode. I hate to throw one player specifically under the spotlight, but to me, that team and Gunless, that's what that entire team's, I guess. How can I even word this? They're mental, if that makes sense. That's who you look at, right? And if they keep losing, I mean, we know what happens with Pierce. We've seen it in the past. He's benched himself twice, refused to play. I fear for them if they don't have success.
Yeah, you're right. It's like if that team doesn't have success, as you defined it, if they don't get to Sunday, big trouble. Even if they demonstrate improvement, even if they demonstrate to themselves that, okay, we worked on the game types we needed to work on. We're feeling stronger in every regard. You're right. If they don't make Sunday, it's curtains. I think it's a real tough scene for them to be in. Phil, what do you think about that?
I think it's a definite tough one to call. I think right now they've got to a semi-final, another semi-final, and it isn't good enough, but they get into the semi-finals, quote unquote, the top four of the tournament. Bear in mind there's, only 8 teams. It's not the placement that they want. But again, I think I agree with Ben. I think if they make a final, nothing changes. If they go out in a semi-final, again, it's disappointment for them and the fans, but I don't think anything changes. I can't see it in a world happening that they don't make it out of the groups, but I think it might. I don't think it happens straight away. I think if, for example, they get another semi-final here, or let's say they don't make Sunday, I think it might be a couple weeks away. I just don't think instantly they change their roster. I think there's way too much talent on the roster. Yes, stuff needs to be figured out, but right now they're changing roles, they're changing their flex, their AR, and I think they're still trying to figure out what's best for them at this point. I'm hoping that they see the longevity in this team, because I think if they stick at it, I think they will be great.
Oh, they should be great by all accounts. But hey, man, it's going to take a lot of work and a lot of serious change, I think, to happen in that team. But hey, man, we'll see how it goes this coming home series. Last question here in the mailbag. You all agreed that Crim 6 would make the best professional wrestler, which got me thinking about CDL players in other professions. Who would make the best rock star? Like a lead singer in Led Zeppelin-esque rock band, like real, like big, high energy frontman. My money is on Octane. Octane being like a big old frontman for a band. I'll start this one, boys. I actually can see the Marshall twins, Scraps and Waskins from London, being like in a punk band. No, wait, let me get this out.
Like a reinvented Oasis.
Yeah. No, totally. I can see that. Like they've got a lot of attitude, you know, but like there's a lot of heart there as well. I can see them putting together some sick tunes, mate. I can truly see that.
Octane?
He's a big bloke.
No, bro. In like a hype band? No. I actually don't mind your pick though, Miles. I think the twins, that's pretty decent.
I also see like Octane is a bit of a virtuoso as well. Like he's the sort of dude to like take over the band and tell everyone what to do. This
is so obvious to me. I'm surprised that you didn't say it. Clay. How can we the word energy, the word hype, when you know he loves music,
Get that ponytail back.
Get the ponytail back, bro.
Ponytail back.
Oh, ponytail. Bring it back, Clay. Bring it back.
Clay's like a big fan of like heavy metal and like shred music and stuff like that. So I can see Clay growling.
Clay would be perfect for that.
I see Clay up front growling with like spikes everywhere and like jet black clothing, eye makeup. I can see that, bro. Clay, like dude, totally. Sure.
I'm not sure if it fits the rock star look, but I can most certainly see Silly. He loves his music.
That was my other pick.
Yep. I reckon he'll dye his hair. He might paint his nails, and I reckon he would go all out. That guy. That guy really likes his music.
Loves his music. He loves his music.
We've all
I can
heard
see it now.
Stories.
It's like Silly is like Marilyn Manson. He's got like one crazy eye color. He's wearing like white makeup on his face because he's a big
all his
dude.
Tattoos all over his arm.
Yeah. Or like Silly could be in he could be in Rammstein or something. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think for me the obvious answer was Silly, but maybe Silly and Clay. You know, the combo back together again.
Yeah, bring him back.
Could be called Reunited.
Like Slipknot vibe going on.
Phil. Yes, Phil.
Reunited. There you go. Silly and Clay take on the world of rock.
I'm trying to think of any other people like there's somebody from Seattle. Like I don't know. I can see everyone's got like a rap vibe right now, but I don't think anyone has the sort of energy or the commanding personality to be like a rock and roll frontman. But hey, who knows? Let us know on Twitter, actually. Tweet all of us. I would love to know what you guys think about that one. That would be a very, very interesting conversation to have. Like, who from the CDL would make the very best sort of rock and roll frontman? Is there a Freddie Mercury in the Call of Duty League players? God knows. All right, boys, I'm going to wrap it up there. But let's look forward to the Chicago Home Series this weekend. It is going to be an absolute banger. Easily one of the most anticipated events of the year. And potentially the most exciting final we could see if all things go our way. Ben, any final parting thoughts before we wrap this one up?
No, I'm just excited to get back into the league again. You know, we got our little taste a week ago, and it felt so good to be back. I think you're right. I think we could have a very good weekend on the cards.
I cannot wait, brother. Philip, what about you, darling?
Again, I think it was our first taste of online. There's certainly loads of improvements that we can all make, and I think we're all excited to just, get back into it, get better, get bigger, everything to do with it, and what a way to kick it off with the Chicago one as well. Great to see some of the teams that haven't played for what seems like months back in action as well. So a little bias. I'm looking forward to seeing the Ravens play.
Me too, mate. I cannot lie to you. Well, that's going to be all of us from here on the Tripcap. Please take care of yourselves, friends. Don't forget to wash your hands, don't touch your faces, and shoot us some questions over here for the next episode of Miles' Mailbag. Guys, until next time, take care.
No, we won't back down, gonna fight till the end. Our honor comes first every time.